Welcome back to the channel. I've got a very fun video today. We're going to be flicking through sketchbook pages from my trip to Japan earlier this year. Before I get started, hello, welcome. My name's Fiona. If you've not been to my channel before, this is the place for me to share my sketchbooks, drawing trips, general ramblings about art supplies, things like that. Alright, let's jump in. We went to Japan for about a month. It was the month of January we spent there. And this is the sketchbook I took. So this was our second time in Japan. By our, I'm talking about me and my husband, Andy. The first time we went, we had an absolutely jam-packed trip. We spent 3 weeks there. We travelled through several different cities. We packed every single day, had an amazing time, and I completely filled a sketchbook cover to cover. And the sketchbook tour video of that sketchbook is already on my channel. I'll link that below. So I do already have a full Japan sketchbook tour video up. And because this was our second time going to Japan, we took it at a bit more of a casual, calm pace this time. So we packed in less things. We had quite a few days of just really like casually exploring. We also worked there as well. We both took our laptops with us and we found a co-working space in Shibuya and got a bit of work done while we were there. So this was very much less of a jam-packed trip and more like playing at living there basically. But yeah, no, I loved it. I loved the pace of day-to-day life. I loved being immersed in the culture. I loved the food. It was great. I think because we packed in less amazing, exciting things, I didn't fill my sketchbook as much, but I did want to share it with you. I was kind of considering waiting filming a sketchbook tour until I completely filled the sketchbook, but then I thought, I don't know, it might be another few months before I fill it, and I want to do this while all the Japan stuff is still fresh in my memory and I can talk about it. So this is a Pith sketchbook. That's P-I-T-H, Pith, pronounce that one carefully. This is my name in hiragana, so that's Fiona. I really like to treat my sketchbooks as like a scrapbook / travel journal, so there's lots of different things stuck in and laid on top of each other in this one. So I've got my boarding pass from the flight, I've got a receipt from Sushi Row. Sushi Row is one of those, you know, those classic like conveyor belt sushi restaurants. I love these places. We went to so many. I really love sushi. Andy is like, he doesn't mind sushi, he likes it, but I'm mad for it. So by the end of the trip I was like, we need to fit in yet one more sushi restaurant, and Andy was like, please have mercy, can we eat literally anything else? So I went to Sushi Row loads. Alright, so starting on the first day, Mount Fuji. So the one thing we missed last time we went to Japan was Mount Fuji. So last time we went to Japan, every single time we were in a situation where we might have reasonably seen Mount Fuji, like we might have had a view line of it. It just was a cloudy day. It just coincidentally happened over and over and over again and we never got to see it. But this time, it was actually on the flight coming into Tokyo. We hadn't even landed yet. We looked out over the wing of the plane and there he was, Fuji-san, clear as day, looming over Tokyo. So that was a really great first view of Japan to see. So yeah, like I said, we went in January. It was freezing. It was really cold. And I live in Scotland, so I'm used to cold. It wasn't colder than Scotland, but it just felt colder. I don't know why. I think it's because it was really windy and the air was really dry, so I was getting like really dry hands and stuff. And also the heating in our Airbnb was so bad. I was like sleeping in like several layers of Uniqlo heat tech just to keep warm. I think that was just our Airbnb though. I think we were just unlucky. So we spent our whole days out and about doing things, trying to stay warm, basically like cozying away in warm cafes with coffee. But it was nice. It was a different experience of Japan. Last time we went when it was warm, this time we experienced winter, and I'm glad to experience all different sides and seasons of it. I've got another Eki stamp. This one's from Shinjuku Station. So the Eki stamps, by the way, Eki stamps are these little unique stamps that you can find in stations, museums, tourist destinations, parks, and each one's unique. They usually feature the name of the place and an image of it. They're basically just like a little side table off to one side in, you know, a station, and you can go over and just help yourself and stamp your book or your sketchbook or whatever. So I collected a bunch of them. I drew this in, I think, Shinjuku Gyoen Park. It was full of crows, I guess because people will go there for picnics. I wanted to draw one of them because we just watched The Boy and the Heron and I was really inspired by the way the birds were illustrated and characterized in that film. Like they were so full of life and character. So I wanted to have a go at doing a kind of energetic, like bird type character. I've done some Pikmin. I got really into the game Pikmin Bloom while we were in Japan. I know you can play it anywhere in the world, but they're like Pikmin Bloom Tokyo community is really active. There's loads of people playing that you can like interact with in the game, whereas it feels a little bit dead playing it back in the UK. So yeah, I played loads of Pikmin Bloom. That was fun. And this is the logo from a coffee shop that we went to many times. This was Mermaid Coffee in Ikebukuro. If you go to Japan, if you spend any time in Ikebukuro, please go to Mermaid Coffee. It was amazing. Absolutely beautiful coffee, and the staff was so nice and so friendly. This drink, amazing. If you see this for sale anywhere, get it. It's a strange drink. It's like a grape jello that you've got to shake up and then you can drink it, and it's got like a fun kind of like half set jelly texture, which sounds weird, but it's great. This is a logo from a big arcade in Ikebukuro. Actually, the chain, I'm pretty sure they have them all over Japan, but the one we went to was in Ikebukuro. It's this big multi-story arcade game place. They had a whole floor full of crane games, you know, the like pick up a toy, those things. And he's really good at crane games. It's like this hidden talent that he has. I could just walk through and be like, win me one of them, and he would just go and get it like straight away, like sniper. It was very impressive. I'm terrible at crane games, but I am pretty good at rhythm games, and they did have a whole floor of rhythm games in this arcade. They had that drum one, they had DDR, so I had to go with that. I love DDR, it's so fun, and they had a bunch of other cool rhythm games, so we spent many an hour in Gigo as well. It was plum blossom season while we were there, because it was January and they were really beautiful. They look a lot like cherry blossom, but they're a much like kind of deeper, richer, pinky red colour. This photo, by the way, I've got a little portable photo printer that I take with me whenever I go like travel sketchbooking. And it just connects Bluetooth to your phone and it just prints photos straight out on the go. And it's really good for travel sketchbooking because it means you can just like stick in photos as you go. This leaflet, I just stuck this to the back of here because this pen had gone through. But this leaflet is from, well, we went to a planetarium. I've never been to a planetarium before, but I was just like, yeah, let's buy a ticket for it. Let's try it. Let's just see what it's like. You buy your ticket, you go through, and you end up in this big room full of seats, almost like a cinema, except the screen is this like big domed overhead screen. And then basically it was just like a movie of this kind of cat character talking through all different constellations. It was 100% Japanese, no subtitles, no nothing. I didn't understand a word of it, but it was a very lovely experience. It was very relaxing. They had lovely music. The narrator's voice was very nice, and we did get to see all of the like constellations and stars overhead. I'm trying to learn Japanese at the minute, so I think anything like that that's just like Japanese immersion is good. It's helping the language go into my brain. I know this character at least. This is the character for cat. I find this one easy to remember because I feel like the kanji kind of looks like a cat, you know, like with the ears and the tail. I went to Shinjuku Gyoen Gardens. It's beautiful botanic gardens right in the middle of Shinjuku. I made a video about this day actually, which is already on my channel. If you're interested, I'll link all of my like vlogs that I made while I was in Japan. I'll link them down below. Although it feels like this really peaceful oasis, if you just look over the tops of the trees, boom, skyscrapers everywhere, you really remember that you're in the middle of Shinjuku. It's really cool atmosphere. This was the Taiwan Pavilion area of the gardens. This kind of big meadow area with this lake and this tea house. It's a lovely place to just take your little 7-Eleven onigiri and have a little picnic. So at this point we'd had quite a few days in a row of co-working, and we were like, oh, we want to get out of the city, we want to see some nature. So I was just sitting in the Airbnb googling nature-y day trips from Tokyo and found this place, Mount Takao. This is about an hour out of Shinjuku. It was so lovely. Please do this if you go to Tokyo. It's such a change from the city, but it's so beautiful. You get on the train, you head out to this little, I don't know if you'd even call it a town, it's like a little row of houses. Some of them are noodle shops. So we just popped in one without really doing any research. Found out that it was a soba noodle place. Got some mountain yam noodles. They were absolutely beautiful. We were in the middle of nowhere. There was no English menus. It was not a touristy area. Everything was completely in Japanese. We kind of ordered by like pointing at things and apologising and not really being sure what we were going to get, but the food was beautiful everywhere we went. You really can't go wrong with the food. And then yeah, there's this big hike that goes up Mount Takao. It's a really well marked path, different Shinto and Buddhist shrines all the way up, so you slowly make your way up the mountain visiting all the different shrines on the way. And then at the very peak of the mountain there's this kind of euphoric moment where the trees part and you suddenly see the huge landscape view from the top of the mountain, and you can see Mount Fuji off in the distance surrounded by clouds, and oh, that was just such a beautiful day. I really recommend doing this. Why did I draw a Tamagotchi? I don't know, I can't remember. I loved this place. This was another YouTube video that I made. I've got a full vlog of going to this place. This is Mocha Cat Cafe. It's a chain. There's a couple of them across Tokyo. This was the Ikebukuro one. I was in there genuinely about 3 hours just like sketching the cats. So this was a little bit of life drawing. I sat next to this young lady, Karin. She was just like sleeping and dozing away in front of me while I was sketching, and it was just such a lovely, peaceful experience. This was a little doodle from the Ueno Zoo. I absolutely fell in love with this secretary bird. I don't think I'd ever seen one in real life before, but she was so cool, she was so glamorous. A drawing of her absolutely had to go in the sketchbook. I really like secretary birds now. This was a lunch that we had. This was Flipper's Pancakes in Shibuya. They're famous for their souffle pancakes, which are the really thick, fluffy, classic Japanese pancake that like wobble when you shake the plate. And I had it with Earl Grey sauce on it, and it was lovely. Oh, this is more doodles from the zoo. This was the red pandas. I could have sat and watched the red pandas for ages. They were so lovely, they were so sweet. They had a good amount of space in their enclosure and they were running about, playing, jumping on each other. It was really sweet. This train is the Yamanote line, which is the kind of like circle line that runs through the middle of Tokyo and connects all the kind of like major hubs of Tokyo, like Shinjuku, Shibuya, Ikebukuro. If you spend any time in Tokyo, you'll probably spend quite a lot of time riding the Yamanote line around. And I just wanted to include him in the sketchbook because he was such a key player of our trip there. This was the Meiji Shrine, kind of like the main shrine of Tokyo. It's right next to Harajuku Station, so it's really easy to get to. It's absolutely huge. There's loads to walk around and look at while you're there. I really liked these. These are the marriage trees. So 2 trees planted by the emperor and his wife and bound together by rope, and it's considered like a really romantic spot. So I thought that was really sweet. Got a little Eki stamp while I was there as well. This is all included in one of the Japan vlogs I posted as well. So if you want to see the live drawing of this, that's up on the channel. The Ghibli Museum. This was so special to me. I've wanted to go here for basically as long as I've known it's existed. These movies are so special and so important to me. I really tried hard to get tickets the first time I went to Japan. Didn't even get a look in. It was like trying to get Beyonce tickets or something. You had to be online when the tickets launched at 2 AM, ready to go, ready to fight. The first time around, I got straight through and immediately saw that I was 10,000th in the queue to buy these tickets. I didn't get a look in. By the time I got through, they were all gone. This time, I, again, was on there 2 AM and I was, I think, 1,000th in the queue or something like that. And I did just manage to get through. I managed to scrape tickets. So I was so happy. And this was such a special day. I don't have many photos because it's a no photos rule inside the museum. There's just a few select outside areas that you're allowed to take photos. You're allowed to take photos of this statue for one thing. So I did this from a photo later on. This guy I just did from memory though, because he was indoors. It's a small museum. You can look around it in maybe about 2 hours, but it's just so beautifully designed and well thought out. It's got the level of care to it that the movies have themselves. The whole ground floor area, half of it was a cinema where they show an exclusive little short movie that's not shown anywhere else. The other half of the ground floor was like about the kind of history and mechanics of animation. The kind of upper floor from there was, part of it was about the kind of animator's process, like they had books full of the original concept drawings and thumbnails for the movies, and they had an area set up like a little animator's studio. The desks were set up with, you know, half a cup of coffee and a cigarette and an ashtray and drawings all over the place and messy, and it was just really cool and interesting to look around. The attention to detail was amazing. And they also had a special exhibition on of gouache painted backgrounds of the Boy and the Heron movie, and they were also absolutely incredible. I'm repeating myself, it was all incredible. It was really amazing. These movies mean a lot to me, so I came away from there feeling so inspired and refreshed and excited to go back and work on my own work. This was the same day as the Ghibli Museum, so we walked back to the station through Inokashira Park. Benzaiten Shrine is there. It's on a little island in the middle of a lake, so you've got to cross a bridge to get to it. And I don't know if it was the time of day or something, it was maybe about 5 PM or something, but it was just absolutely empty. We had the place to ourselves, so that was really cool. The Inokashira Park Zoo was open as well, which isn't really much of like a proper zoo, it's more of a petting zoo. They've just got like guinea pigs and goats and stuff like that, and that was nice. This was the Kamakura day. This is another day that I vlogged, so if you want to see the process of like drawing this on location, that's on the channel. Kamakura is a small city that's about an hour outside of Tokyo. It's on the beach. It's full of history. It's full of shrines and temples. You might have seen the ginormous Buddha statue that it's famous for. It's one of the biggest in Asia, I think. And this was, I forget the name of the shrine. I'll write it on the screen. You enter the shrine by, there's this tunnel of these red torii gates going up the side of the mountains, hundreds of them, and you walk all the way through. And by the time you get to the shrine at the top of the hill, you really feel like you've gone through a portal to the past, you know, like you've gone through this magical gateway. It's very spirited away, and you come out and you're in this peaceful mountain shrine. Oh, it's just an indescribable atmosphere. It's amazing. So this was Kamakura. Art supplies, by the way, the pens I've been using for most of this book. I've been using these Mildliners a lot recently. I used to be a Copic markers only girl, but I've just recently discovered the joys of water-based markers. I really like the kind of slightly scribbly texture you get with them. These aren't really intended to be an art supply. I think they're meant to just be for stationery. They're meant to be used as actual highlighters, but I really like them as art supplies. I've also been using Tombow markers quite a bit recently. These are really nice. I've also been using these Muji highlighters, which are again not an art supply. These are meant for like studying and annotating and things, but I really like them as a art supply. That's what this rich green colour is. And then for lining, I've been using these Winsor & Newton coloured pencils, and also this particular black gel pen, Uniball 1. These are really nice. So yeah, that's the art supplies that I've been using. This day was the Sunshine City Aquarium, which again, super fun. It was absolutely packed. I think we went on a Saturday, and I kind of wish we'd gone on a less busy day because it was very, very busy, but it was still lovely. I absolutely fell in love with these isopods. They look a bit like woodlice, but they're a lot bigger, and they live at the bottom of the sea, and they're just so cute. I find them really adorable. This was copied off of some sweet packaging that I had. I had a bag of these little milk sweets from 7-Eleven that I was like slowly working my way through in the Airbnb, and I just like the packaging, so I drew her. This is one of my favourite days. We went on a little trip to Shimokitazawa. It's famous for its second-hand shopping. There's loads of really cool vintage shops, thrift shops. It's an absolute treasure trove. I went into about 4 or 5 different thrift shops and brought back this haul. It was touch and go whether I was going to get it back in the suitcase. There was some stressful times in the Airbnb jumping on the suitcase to get it closed, but I did. I really enjoy really like chunky knitwear with lots of like applique and embroidered things, and I found quite a few things like that, so that was really cool. I think the slightly boho vintagey aesthetic has not caught on as much in Japan as it has in the UK. I get the impression in Japan that the fashion is more along the lines of quite like polished and chic. So the kind of clothes that I like the like granny jumpers and stuff, they weren't too picked over. There was quite a lot to choose from. There was quite a lot there. Whereas in the UK, you wouldn't even get a look in. The hipsters would have already bought it. You wouldn't even get the chance. There was a really good selection, is what I'm trying to say. This is just a pigeon. Like there's nothing special about him. He's just a little guy, but I wanted to include him because I liked him. And there was a bubble tea that I had. Once again, back at Mermaid Coffee in Ikebukuro. We went there loads, easily at least 3 or 4 times. It was just great. The coffee was so nice. I have become a bit of a coffee snob recently and started to like really appreciate really nice coffee, and this place was great. Definitely made the time to go. Mermaid Coffee Ikebukuro. This was the little mug. This was the outside of the shop as well. This photo is from, I didn't draw anything there, but this is from Super Potato in Ikebukuro, which is a vintage and secondhand games shop. They've got lots of cool niche games from like the noughties and the 90s. I went in because, like I said, I've been trying to learn some Japanese, and I thought a fun way to do that would be pick up a secondhand DS game, one that I have already played and I'm really comfortable and know the story really well, but play it in Japanese. So that's what I did. I got Final Fantasy 3 in Japanese. So yeah, I'm going to try and make my way through Final Fantasy in Japanese. Wish me luck. This was Shibuya. I wanted to dedicate a whole page spread into the energy of Shibuya, the chaos and all the glowing lights. I don't know if you can see, but I've tried to use a lighter coloured pencil to give like a halo of light around the buildings against the night sky to give it that glowy look. Yeah, Shibuya is just indescribable. I've never been anywhere like it. Like the energy of it is just incredible. This was from the Bonsai Museum. I didn't actually draw any of the bonsai trees, but at the Bonsai Museum, which we went to because Andy's really into bonsais. So I went to the Bonsai Museum to go and see these really amazing, like 800, 700-year-old trees. But they had a little koi carp pond there, so they were very cute. And then last but not least, this was an acai bowl from Medel Deli. If you stay in Ebisu, I definitely recommend going to Medel Deli. The food's really nice. Sometimes in Japan, although the food's incredible, the sushi, the ramen, the okonomiyaki, you can just go in anywhere and it'll be the best food you've ever had. It really is incredible. Sometimes it does feel kind of hard to get in your fruits and vegetables. Like it's hard to find fruit for sale at like 7-Elevens and stuff like that. So we'd go here and we'd get an absolutely laden acai bowl and be like, okay, that's our fruit for the day. I also really like these seaweed smoothies that they do as well. So yeah, if you stay in Ebisu, this place is really nice. Ebisu is a good place to stay in Tokyo in general, I think, because it's on the Yamanote line, which as I said kind of connects all of Tokyo. So it's good to like look at the Yamanote line stations and pick one of them to stay on. It's just really convenient. But Ebisu doesn't feel as busy as like Shinjuku, Shibuya. So even though it's well connected, it doesn't feel crazy busy. So yeah, Ebisu's a good place to stay. And yeah, that was it. That was just like a little leaflet that came from Medel Deli. So yeah, that's it for now. I've still got all of these sketchbook pages yet to fill. I just wanted to like get in there and give you like a little Japan pages flip through. But yeah, once I have fully filled this sketchbook, I'll do a proper tour where I go through the whole thing. I think travel sketchbooking is such a nice way to remember a place. I think when you draw a place, it forces you to zoom in on all of the little details that you might kind of miss in photos and really help commit them to memory. I just really enjoy doing it. It really helps me feel like I've connected with a place, and these books are so fun to look back on when I get back. So yeah, that was my Japan sketchbook pages flip through. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you thought it was interesting. As I said, I've got plenty of vlogs from this trip up on my channel. I've got, well, 2 drawing vlogs, and I've also got a kind of shop with me for art supplies in Sekaido video. So I hope you like those. And as I said, I've been to Japan one time before and I made a sketchbook 2 video of that as well. So if you're interested in more Japan content, there's plenty of that. That'll all be linked down below. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.